Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire.
Welcome back to the pregame tailgate. It's week 4, the bane of my existence. I'm here with Bryce Frazier. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, it's a crazy week, right? We've got one game postponed until later this season. We've got another game postponed till we don't know when the hell it's going to play. And for commissioners, that's been a hellacious situation. And then last night we had another scare with a Saints player that ended up being a false positive and is not at this point going to affect their game, but who the hell knows anymore with COVID around. It's been just a crazy week for the NFL, balancing this all out, figuring this all out, and I don't know that it's going to get better throughout the year, but here we are dealing with what we thought we might have to deal with when this season started. Don't think there's a chance that this season's going to get canceled. People are already saying that we're not going to make it through the season. These NFL owners are not going to allow this season to get canceled.
Right. I agree. I think the worst case scenario is it gets maybe delayed for a week or two. And that just depends on more cases popping up. It seems like a lot, but it's only, 3 teams right now, or 2 that have, actually just one, because the Titans had the most, and they're probably going to get fined like crazy for not following a lot of protocol. But, I mean, other than their team, it's just kind of like a few sprinkled players here and there, which I think everyone kind of expected. So I feel like it can be easily contained, but if it can't, I think the worst case scenario is you're looking at maybe a delay in the season.
Yeah, I don't even know if the season will get delayed because they'll want that money every Sunday, but I could see them extending the season out to accommodate for games that are canceled. If move the Super Bowl back, and if the schedule isn't as easy, because that Titans Pittsburgh game, they got real lucky the way the buys lined up and being able to work around that. But if it's not that easy, I could see them adding, an extra week or two to accommodate those postponed games and whatnot. But especially with no fans, right? Because the way it looks, there's not going to be fans at the Super Bowl, which I'm sure they're not happy about, and I'm sure they're hoping they can change. Delaying that's only going to give you a better opportunity of being able to have fans. If we do have some cancellations, it's definitely a mess. Rob says, "Well, this is fun so far." Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy season. Paul says, "Is the commish lazy if they play Kansas City, New England guys at your if they say play Kansas City, New England guys at your own risk?" I'll let you answer that first because I've got a unique answer, I think.
I think it's a little bit lazy, to be honest, because I like kind of the format that, you set up. I kind of did almost like I did the same thing, but kind of the opposite, where I said play the players, if you have Kansas City or New England owners, and then if the game gets canceled, prior to that, all the 1:00 games today, you would have had to submit me your backup players. It's not too difficult to do something like that unless you're who does commissions like 400 teams. But, if you're only commissioned like 1 or 2 leagues, it won't take too long to, take out and plug in some players that people wanted replaced. So I don't necessarily think they're super lazy, but I think, better options are available.
I do think it's lazy. And it's to each their own. I'm not gonna say anybody's right or wrong. I'm not gonna call anybody out or anything for saying that. But the way I look at it is, all the leagues that I run, my members are paying money for that league, and they should never have to take a 0 on Tyreek Hill or Patrick Mahomes. And if those guys play, they shouldn't have to not have their potential in their lineup. Like, it's not fair the way that it. I explained this to somebody on Twitter yesterday. What happens when a team that is 0-3 is playing a team that just happens to have, multiple players from this game, and they can't play them, and then that team that's 0-3 beats them, and it costs one team the first overall pick? That changes a franchise. That could change a franchise for years, it's not just this week that it affects, right? This is Dynasty. It affects all the way out for years to come. More work isn't an excuse to not do the right thing, in my opinion, and that's where I fall on it. I want the members of my leagues to have the best experience possible, and if you don't accommodate for this, then you're not giving them that experience. And that, I don't think, is fair. I think it changes a lot. It could be the difference between, draft pick selection. It could be the difference between making the playoffs and making money and not. There's just a lot of things that it affects that people look at this 1 week and they don't think it affects that much. And it really does. And it really could. And so, it's not fun. I didn't want to do it. I didn't think at the time, because I had to come up with something quick for all the leagues that I've got.
Right.
I didn't think there was a great chance that the game was played, so I went the opposite. I said, put in your backups, and then if the game is played, I'll move them in. And, it's... I want the game canceled so I don't have to make all the major moves. But, it is what it is. If I have to do the work, I have to do the work. I've always said, you can't skip doing the best thing because it costs more work. And that it doesn't just have to do with fantasy, just as a business owner in general. It is what it is. And, I don't want to call people lazy. I don't want to call them out for not doing that. I just think it's unfair if it's a paid league. If it's a free league, then, I'm whatever. Then there's no end goal other than
bragging.
The right to talk shit a little bit. But, when money's involved, it's a little bit different, and I think it should be handled in a way that is fair to all the players. Steven says, do you feel confident in KC playing? If they don't, should I flex MVS, Renfro, or Jeff Wilson in full PPR? So you're confident they play. I'm a little more confident than I was yesterday, but there were players on both sides that had tested positive, so it's still up in the air. But if they don't, should they flex MVS, Renfro, or Jeff Wilson?
Is Devontae Adams playing this week, right?
I'm not 100% sure, which is something I need to know because he's on one of my teams, but I haven't been able to.
It probably doesn't change my answer. I'm still probably gonna, MVS this week. Jeff Wilson kind of had the role I thought he would for the 49ers run game. I thought Jerick McKinnon would get more carries than people thought, which he kind of did. And then Hunter Renfro is pretty, inconsistent. So I'm going to go with MVS.
I'm actually going to make our boy Rob Sullivan very proud. Right now, Renfro, he's not playing like the same Renfro that he's been in previous years. He's running more downfield routes, which they need right now with everybody hurt. I mean, this is obviously dependent on, Ruggs and Edwards and Tyrell Williams being out, which they are. I think Ruggs may have a chance to play, but I'm probably going Renfro here. He's at the top of the league in ADOT, average depth of target, and he is a catch and fall guy, but if he's getting those targets further down the field, then that helps a little bit. Use them while you can, I guess. Patel says Ronald Jones, James Robinson, Mike Davis start 2. This is easily James Robinson and Mike Davis for me.
Yep, 100% agree.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. It's just I want to do what's best for all the Roto Heat league members. We need to take DJ Moore to number 1 wide receiver court. Does he still qualify? Full PPR, Shark, Renfro, Henderson, or DJ Moore? I am going with DJ Moore. Wait, full PPR, Shark, just 1? I might have to go Henderson. I apologize. If it's just 1, Henderson, he's getting 20 touches. I was just talking about this before the stream.
Yeah.
With Bryce, if Malcolm Brown comes out and takes it, then it's going to be frustrating. But right now, I think it's hard for them not to give Henderson the touches with the production that he's put up.
Yeah, I think I'm still going to go DJ Moore. I just like that the Panthers are going to consistently have to throw the ball every single week and through all 4 quarters. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore because I'm still the backfield in the for the Rams is still a little bit foggy. It's getting more clear, but until I see it for like 3 weeks consistently, I'm probably going to shy away from Henderson if a player like DJ Moore is available to start over him.
All right, chat. We're going to need you to break the tie on Rob's question there. It was DJ Shark, Renfro, Henderson, or DJ Moore in PPR. I said Henderson. Bryce said DJ Moore. Break that tie. So the next 2 people will say Shark and Renfro and just make it real confusing for Rob. Pick 2, DJ Shark, Terry McLaurin, Justin Jefferson.
DJ Shark and Terry McLaurin.
That's who I would go with as well. I understand Jefferson had the huge week 3, but as we've seen before, you can have that huge week and the next week put up a dud. I do like the 2 veterans in that situation. My issue would be if you really wanted to put Justin Jefferson in, I think you have to put him in over Terry McLaurin, just because his quarterback's terrible.
Yeah.
Who is better to start, Hunter Renfrow or Greg Ward? These 2 guys are going to be popular this week, I think, on the questions this morning.
I ended up watching a lot of that Eagles game, and I liked how they were getting that ball to Greg Ward. So I think I'm gonna go with Greg Ward.
This one is a literal 50-50 for me.
Yeah.
I think if I was forced to throw one in, as I said, Hunter Renfro's got one of the highest ADOTs. He's getting downfield for his targets. They both have a tight end, a high-volume tight end, and nobody else to compete with right now.
Yeah.
And then, so the question then becomes, do you trust Wentz or Carr? And while I think Wentz is the more talented quarterback, Carr is playing better, and Carr's got a better completion percentage and everything. I probably go with Hunter Renfrow. Oh, it's funny, he followed it up with tough to trust Wentz.
Right.
Sorry, that's another 50-50. Chat can go ahead and break that tie again. Pats were informed at 10 a.m. meeting. As of right now, they are playing Monday night, reported by Diana Rossini of ESPN. Shit.
That sucks. Yeah, I don't want that game to be played.
Which one do I sit? Henderson Jr., Drake, or Sanders? Henderson.
I think you got to stay, huh?
Henderson,
yeah. You got to give Drake another game or 2.
Listen,
he's got a good one.
We talked about this yesterday in our DFS chat in the Discord. Drake's getting the touches. He's running the routes, even though he hasn't been used in the passing game very much. And the thing that's been lacking is TDs, which is variant, right? Like it
Yeah.
from year to year, it's variant. So week to week, it is. Uh, Carolina Panthers are brutal against the running backs. I think they've given up multiple running back touchdowns in like 9 or 10 straight weeks. Going back to last year.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting Drake, and Miles Sanders is a start every week when healthy, especially with the lack of wide receivers in Philly. So I'm sitting Henderson, but that's a good problem to have. Uh, the Pats are flying to Kansas City tomorrow. So should I go and tell everybody to put in their Kansas City players or what? So I don't have to?
Yeah, too late for you.
Okay, we got a super chat from Stephen Drakes. I appreciate it. We're gonna skip ahead to this question. We really appreciate it, man. That's awesome. One more question. Hunt may play. Do I flex him or Gurley in full PPR?
Yeah, I think you gotta flex Hunt if he plays. The Falcons are going to be down, so they're going to be they're going to be down every week because their defense is terrible, or at least in a shootout, it seems like. And they're playing the Packers, and Gurley he's not the old Todd Gurley. They're implementing Brian Hill, so I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt, even though he's also in a shared backfield. I just like his PPR upside way more.
Yeah. Okay. So Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are like two of the top 5 or 6 most efficient running backs. Like. They are so good. They're elusive, everything. They're both going to get work week in and week out. You got a high-scoring game potential here. I think it's a sneaky shootout, and I think the Browns' offense could actually take a step forward. They got whooped by a good Baltimore team. Don't look at Baltimore's Kansas City game and act like Baltimore's not good. They got whooped in week 1, but they've won the last 2 weeks, and they're just not throwing a lot. Okay. Yeah, I'm going Hunt, though, to make that very clear. I'm going Hunt over Gurley, Steven. And again, appreciate the super chat. Much appreciated. I got to go back up here. Jose Jimenez says, Odell Beckham Jr. or DJ Moore? You guys were right last week, so I might as well ask again.
Oh, man. That's a good problem to have. What do the rest of your receivers look like?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going OBJ because I think this game, Dallas has not stopped anybody. The issue with the Browns the last 2 weeks has been pass volume, right? We talked about this with Cam Newton. When Cleveland is ahead, they're not going to throw the ball a lot. That's just not their style. They're going to run the ball with Chubb and Hunt. And I think this week is a week that Baker Mayfield could actually have a big week in yardage and pass attempts because they're likely to be trailing because I don't see their defense stopping Dallas. Not many teams are going to stop Dallas's offense. So I'm going to OBJ.
Yeah, I think this also may be a good floor to ceiling question because if it's going with the highest floor, I think I would go DJ Moore. But if I want that possible high 20s, 30-point game, I think I'm going to go Odell Beckham Jr. So you can kind of pick based on your matchup. But overall, I always like to go for the ceiling, so I'm probably going to go with OBJ against that absolutely terrible Cowboys secondary.
Yep, I can't argue with that thought process. MathQuest says, are you expecting Preston Williams to have a big game because of the great matchup against the Seahawks? I expect Preston Williams to have somewhat of a breakout game. I think this will be his highest output game, but I think right now he's behind Parker and Gesicki until he gets fully healed because you got to remember it was November when he got injured last year. The fact that he's even playing right now is pretty impressive in my opinion, but I'm sure he's not full strength, full Preston Williams. So I do expect a good game out of him. He is getting targeted. He had brutal matchups to start the year, but I expect him to have his best game of the season so far here in Week 4.
Yeah, another game that could be a sneaky shootout. Even though people kind of sleep on the Dolphins, They've got decent weapons in the receiving core, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's pretty good. So, do I expect Preston Williams to have a breakout game? I'm more confident in Devontae Parker and Gesicki this week, but I wouldn't feel uncomfortable putting him in my lineup.
Yeah, I think he does have a real solid floor, obviously, this
Yeah.
week. Pick 2 from Sean Dean, PPR, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, and James Robinson, picking 2 out of the 3.
Oh man, Josh Jacobs for sure. Um, I think I'll go James Robinson over Jonathan Taylor. I just like the matchup so much better. And like you talked about last week, the Bears don't allow touchdowns, and I see that being very possible this week. So, and I like the James Robinson touchdown upside.
And James Robinson's balling out right now. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no other way to put it. He's getting 20 plus touches. He's worked in the passing game. I think I side with you, even though Jonathan Taylor is the better talent.
yeah,
Um,
I,
but I will say this: the Bears get chewed up through the passing game with running backs. They're giving up a higher average than they normally do, which I think is going to normalize in the rushing game. But they do get gashed by pass catching backs. Um, Jacobs is in for sure.
yeah.
And then I lean James Robinson after that, and that's a touches thing for me, because I also wonder if Taylor's going to get all of the touches, and how much are they going to run, right? So he is the more talented guy. He's the guy I want long term and for the rest of the season, but I don't know if this matchup's the one with James Robinson getting 20, 25 touches. Ryan Sullivan highlights says Brandon Ayuk or Scary Terry for full PPR.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry for me too. Brandon Ayuk has competition this week for targets.
Yeah,
I think both of their studs are back this week, right? Kittle's back
yeah.
and Debo's back. So, yeah, I've got to go with McLaurin in this one. Vikings, Chargers, Texans, or Cardinals? Who defense should I start? I will be honest. I'm assuming you're Green Bay Jeff, maybe GMB Jeff. I don't know. It would probably come down to Chargers and Cardinals for me. Chargers can put some pressure on, even though they're missing a piece of that defensive line. I don't have any leagues with defense. I just have DFS, and then I go strictly based off of price. Whatever I have left is what I fit in there, because it's so variant. But I don't even know all the matchups off the top of my head. Who do the Vikings play?
The Texans. I'm going the Chargers.
Yeah, I
pretty
think
easily.
I go to the Chargers. Play the Bucks, right?
Yeah, I think that Joey Bosa is going to tear Tom Brady apart, and then the secondary is might get an interception or two. So I think the upside for sacks and interceptions are higher on the Chargers. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers as well. Renfro or Gallup PPR? Gallup.
Gal.
Gallup every time. Sorry, Sully. There went your boy Renfro. That's where it ended for me.
It's weird hearing you talk good about him.
Hey, the thing in fantasy that you have to do, right, is Renfro has always been like a 4-yard ADOT, and then he catches it and falls down. Like, there was no yak with him. So he has to catch freaking, and 4 is an exaggeration, right? Like 8 yards. So even if he catches 10 balls, it's 10 for 8. There's no upside there, but he doesn't normally get that volume.
Right.
If all 3 of the other receivers are healthy, Renfro's a nothing burger. But with him hurt and him getting further downfield, he's a better play than he was,
Right.
a year ago or whatnot. But when those guys get healthy, he'll be back to my do not touch list. Um, Rob Kane says, and making sure I'm not skipping anything. But Patel, we did go Gallup on that one pretty easily. Soft move or boss move? Drop Ingram for Robert Tonyan. Evan Ingram or Robert Tonyan?
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram for me every day. He's gonna break out, especially with Barkley out of the lineup for the year. Shepard's on IR now. They're gonna need Ingram, and they're gonna have to start getting him the ball. My other wide receiver is Hopkins. That was Jose, who, yeah, you're not sitting him. He's not even sure how he got Hopkins, but he's got him, so happy day. Yeah, guys, sorry. We are going straight down the list. We will answer your questions. We want to appreciate everybody being here. If you can, hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, help us out, share us with your friends. Maybe not your league mates, but your friends that are in other leagues, maybe. What about if Ridley and Julio don't play? Is Gage a starter over a OBJ?
No.
I'm not starting him over OBJ. Rob Kane, I understand if you want to get Tonyan, I'm not dropping Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a top 3-4 talent at tight end. It's been a slow start, but 3 weeks is not indicative of what Evan Ingram can do for your team. Rob Sullivan with the super chat. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. If the Pats play, pick one in Scott Fish scoring. Burkhead, James White, or Russell Gage.
And what scoring?
Scott Fish scoring, which I don't remember all of it off the top of my head. All I know is that I'm 3-0 and whooping ass. Scott Fish Bowl, everybody. It's a great league for fantasy cares, and you should check it out for next year. You have to apply. I can't even remember how many teams are in it, but it's a huge league with a lot of different people from the industry, from fans all the way up to analysts for ESPN and all the big networks. So check that out. For me, it's Russell Gage because I don't know how New England will ever use their running backs.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if Sonny Michel gets 3 touchdowns the next game, and then Rex Burkhead gets
6 touches,
3 touches. Yeah, it's extremely frustrating to me. It definitely seems like McDaniels loves Rex Burkhead, but he's also loved him a lot these past 2 weeks, and I don't know if James White comes back and takes over that role. It's so confusing. I just don't want any part of it, so I will agree with you. Go Russell.
And that's the Patriots fan right there. So
Yeah.
talk about how confusing it is. Okay, so our IDP guys chimed in. Cardinals D and Houston defense. 2 separate guys. So basically, we're all over the board on the defense, which is the way defense is, right? The one thing I will say is that defense, you don't get defenses don't score a bunch of points because they shut a team out. You got to look for who's going to pressure, sacks, sack rates. That leads to interceptions if it's a team that's going to drop back a lot. I don't see Ronald Jones running over Chargers myself, but those are the IDP guys. But I always tell people, because all my defense stuff is in DFS, and that's what you want to look for. You want to look for who pressures the quarterback, sacks, turnovers. That's what you want. So when a quarterback drops back a lot of times and they're turnover prone, that's how you get your pick sixes. Like you seen Jets to Colts last week. That's how you get your high scores there. Other than that, they're like so close it doesn't really matter, right? One team scores 9, the other team scores 6. Like there's just not a big enough difference for you to spend a bunch of time on, in my opinion. Why does Bryce hate Renfro? It's unacceptable. That's from Rob Sully.
I don't hate Renfro.
Cody Mitchell says Odell or Devontae Parker.
Odell.
I go with the best player every time in these situations. Though, if this is your issue, you're sitting real good, and I'm wondering if this is the Cody Mitchell that I know. I go Odell, and this could be a huge week for Devontae Parker. But it's still Odell because Dallas is they've got a bad secondary as well. Solely thinks that it's easily Parker. I disagree. I understand that that Seattle's given up all these points, but we still haven't even seen a fully healthy Devontae Parker yet. Like you can look at him, he's not as explosive and everything. Maybe this is the week that he is, but we haven't seen that yet. Odell, the same exact thing's going for Dallas right now. Their secondary is maybe not as bad as Seattle's. They might not be giving up as many points, but this is a week where they could. And Odell Beckham is still one of the most talented receivers in football. Don't let Baker Mayfield's issues, don't let the Browns, running the ball a lot issues come into play here. I think Odell is the play there. Paul, we don't need the arguments. Like we all know, their secondary is still not good.
You and Paul.
Well, no, I mean it's everybody in the industry knows their defense is not good. They're in Seattle right now is just saying, okay, we'll sit back, we'll shoot it out with you
everybody.
because our quarterback's better than your quarterback, and that's how we're gonna win. We're gonna beat you because our quarterback is maybe the best in the league right now. And he's playing like the best in the league right now.
Agreed.
Let Russ cook, right? That's been the saying forever. He's been so efficient on. We were talking about what's been the issue with Russ being the top 1 or 2 fantasy quarterback every year. It's been volume, right? He hasn't been throwing the 30 plus times a game that a lot of guys have. Now they are, and he's still as efficient as he was, which is nuts.
Yeah.
5 and 4 touchdowns, and should have had another one, but DK Metcalf got a little showboaty, and
Deshaun Jackson did the deal with Deshaun Jackson.
Hey, learn it early. He'll never make that mistake again, right? Rate these guys in order you would start. Full PPR: MVS, Ward, Shark, McLaurin.
Shark, McLaurin, Ward, MVS.
I was going to say the same exact thing. Shark, McLaurin, Ward, MVS. I think Ward has that PPR upside because he's going to get a lot of work. I'm going to let you answer. Oh, never mind. It wasn't a question. Yeah, I just think that Ward's PPR upside is higher than, or his floor up plus upside is higher than MVS. MVS has a 0 floor. We've seen it too many times. He'll put on a show for you one week, and then the next week he gets you a dud. As long as those receivers are out for Philly, Ward is going to get targeted. He's going to get peppered. We've seen it last year. We've seen it last week. And, kudos to him. Quarterback switch positions and has done pretty well. Okay, this is a non-PPR question. No PPR. Kenny Galladay or Allen Robinson for MathQuest over on YouTube?
Allen Robinson. Good problem to have.
This week it might be Kenny Galladay for me. I don't know. They both don't have the easiest of opponents. I'm probably Allen Robinson, but I'm the homer. I'm the Bears fan. I love Allen Robinson, but I don't know if anybody was watching that Bears game last week, and
I would.
you see all these like duck floaters from Trubisky, and then Foles comes in, and it's actually on a line. It's actually a spiral, and
All I saw was Allen Robinson's points just whoop, all the way up, and I was like, "Thank you, Nick
and
Foles."
I, for one, as a Bears fan, I was excited anyway, but I was watching with a Packers fan and another buddy, and all of us. The first throw Foles said was, "Holy shit, that looks like an NFL throw compared to the middle school throw that you get out of Trubisky." And we saw Robinson drop a pass, and then Miller drop a pass on the first drive, and we're like, they're probably just confused that the ball is there.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so
Well,
sad.
did Robinson also have a touchdown in that game that got called an interception?
Yeah, it was a real weird play where they both came down,
reversed
but
it.
they didn't
Yeah.
I guess he didn't finish the play after he hit the ground. Like he had it, and then they like rolled, and then the other guy had it. There we go. Paul said, "Hey Rob, Galladay gets Lattimore," and then our boy Craig came back with Lattimore's not playing. Galladay all day. That's a good problem to have. I don't understand how you're not starting both of those guys. Your wide receivers must be awesome, MathQuest. So hopefully we helped you in the draft process get there. MathQuest has been around for a long time. We appreciate you being around. Um, Top two corners are out for New Orleans. That is good information to have because I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew Lattimore was out because I got Galladay in a few of a lot of my DraftKings lineups.
So have we got any more information on this damn? I just want the news to come in that Kansas City game's canceled.
I would love that. Like I want to see the Patriots play. I don't want to see them play Kansas City without Cam Newton though. Like if we were playing the Jets, I'd be like, all right, well Brian Hoyer can beat the Jets, but
I don't know. I think you might have a better chance with Brian Hoyer throwing the ball versus Kansas City than Cam throwing the ball versus Kansas City.
But I like the dual threat. I mean, I know he's not. Brian Hoyer doesn't run the ball, so Cam's lack of accuracy in the passing game is made up for linebackers having to freeze on him running.
How'd that work out for Lamar Jackson just 1 week ago?
I know, but I like our coaching staff better.
I don't know. I think they're very similar. Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton. Not the most accurate. Same with Josh Allen, right? Not the most accurate, especially when they get pressured. And Kansas City's defense is pretty good as well. I think that if you're gonna have to drop back 45 times, I'm gonna take Brian Hoyer over Cam Newton every time. Rob Kane with the super chat, much appreciated. He said, "Keep up the great work, my Sunday fantasy show." Hey, we're here for you every Sunday morning. I will be honest, man. This morning with all the stuff going on and all the making sure I get all the substitutes in, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do the show this morning. But as I said at the beginning of the show, more work is not an excuse to not do something. You got to get it done. Do the best you can. We appreciate you, Rob. We appreciate you big time. And we appreciate everybody that's put in a super chat today. That helps out a bunch. And we appreciate that. Metcalf eats up corners like Howard, too, if he covers them. I think Metcalf's going to eat up anybody. I mean, he did it to Gilmore. That was a battle that he ultimately won. And Gilmore hasn't played as good as Gilmore's played in the past so far this year. But,
yeah, when you got a dude with his speed there's no corner that's fast enough really to keep up with him. You have to have safety help over the top. Like Gilmore is a big physical corner, but when it's just running downfield like that, Metcalf's going to burn everybody.
Well, there's not many cornerbacks that are going to be able to out physical Metcalf
Yeah.
either. Like, I mean,
Perfect
that
time.
dude is a monster. But yeah, I remember when people didn't know if Metcalf was going to be good, and he was my number one wide receiver out of last year's class, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
On NFL's website, it says the game is going to be planned to be played for Monday night, and that's about 19 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know.
So.
That's what Rob came in and dropped in the chat.
Dang it.
I think that's an issue, Paul, that we see with a decent amount of players. They quit caring after they get paid. And they don't work nearly as hard. I remember there was a stretch of like huge defensive linemen that got paid huge contracts. This was a while back.
Yeah.
But it was like every one of them just bombed when they switched teams and got paid huge 100 million plus contracts and whatnot. If you're in the chat, drop your questions. We're here to answer them to the best of our ability, and the chat always helps out answer them and break ties for us when Bryce and I are on the different sides of things. So answer those or ask those questions in the chat. I'm also going to get the Discord link and drop that, so you can always come in the Discord chat and join us.
About to overpay so heavily for Brian Hoyer. Oh my gosh. Well, my free agent.
I wouldn't announce that. I wouldn't announce that. I wouldn't.
I'm probably hurting the worst at QB in this. Not too worried about it.
I haven't even looked to see if I need one, to be honest with you. All right, we got some more questions. Rob needs one wide receiver and one flex. Full PPR. Shark, Ward, Jones, I'm assuming Marvin Jones, Terry McLaurin, or Chris Carson. I already played Crowder, which good play on Crowder. One
For
wide
sure,
receiver,
Shark.
one flex. I'm going Shark and Chris Carson if he plays. I don't think Seattle's playing Chris Carson if he's not fine. And I'll take that volume in a high-scoring game.
Yeah, that's what I was looking right now. Is Chris Carson's? It says he's expected to play, so that's good news. So I'm going to go with the same.
Yep.
DJ
I'm going
Chark.
Shark and Carson there. Jaws over on YouTube. How you doing? Curtis Samuel, Andy Isabella, Hilton, or Traquan Smith?
What has T.Y. Hilton done this year? Has he done anything yet?
He has got called out by his grandma.
Oh.
That's about the extent of what he's done so far.
Yeah, he's a pretty big disappointment for this year. Who is it again? Curtis Samuel,
Andy Isabella, T.Y. Hilton, or Traquan Smith?
Man. You go ahead. I can't. That's a.
I'm probably going Curtis Samuel. I think he's the only one with a floor right now.
It's either between him or Smith to me.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Smith's.
It's good to see Emmanuel Sanders get involved.
Yeah, Smith's hard to trust too. He's kind of like MVS, right? Like he's had some big weeks, but has disappeared when you thought he was going to do well more than once. Um, yeah, I'm probably going Curtis Samuel there for the floor.
Yeah, not even not many of those guys have like a giant ceiling either. So I'm gonna go with the floor and agree with Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I don't think that. I definitely don't think they have high floors there for sure.
Yeah.
High ceilings. I mean, I said floor.
Yeah.
I meant
I know
ceilings.
what you meant.
My sound is off. Yeah, I had the noise in the background, so I changed that. Jaws said, surprised none of you guys went live last night because of the breaking news. All the fantasy channels were popping. I've just got so much going on. It's hard. Somebody said they can't hear me. Can you hear? Are we back? Let me know. I had noise going on in the background, so.
The dang water pump.
Yeah. Let me know if I'm back. I should be back now, but they're still yelling at me. Now, can you hear me? Can you read lips? Oh, he said good now. Okay, thank you. Somebody yells at me and then they don't respond when they can hear me. So, Mixon, McLaurin, or Shark for the flex play. Full PPR. Crowder and Allen are my wide receivers.
He said Mixon who?
McLaurin or Shark for the flex play. Full PPR.
I think this is Mixon's breakout game for the year. So I'm putting in Mixon.
I agree. He's getting the touches. It's just their line sucks.
But now they're going against a sucky defense.
Really bad, so. Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, right? We've seen what Myles Gaskin did against Jacksonville. What's Mixon going to do? Mixon's way better. No, I know, Paul. I was just kidding. Trust Hopkins to start play or play OBJ? Hopkins plays 1 p.m. Or is it
yes. They moved only one game back. Was that's your guys,
Colts
right?
Bears got moved to the flex spot at 4. Okay, so yeah, if Hopkins is 1 o'clock, you're gonna know, and I'm playing Hopkins if he plays. Yeah, he said they both play at 12 Central. Yeah, I'm playing Hopkins if they play, but my question is, who else are you playing over OBJ? I get that OBJ hasn't had the big week yet, but I don't. Has he had a bad week yet? Like I mean, maybe
it's not like he's had like a terrible week. He's had like very, less than 10-point week for sure. But he's another guy I wish would go to a different team.
Yeah, I wish that too. Like, could you imagine if he was on like Seattle right now, with as much as they're throwing?
Or even like the Texans. Like, you saw the work Hopkins was getting there. Like, there's nobody else there to take that. Green Bay, well, I guess not Green Bay, but just a lot of teams. Just so many.
Game logs. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, this guy's getting 6 to 10 targets a week, and the game that they threw a ton was Week 1 versus Baltimore. He got 10 targets, but they were terrible targets, right? But over the last 2 weeks, he has caught 8 out of 12 targets for 130 yards, and a TD. This is another week where it could be the 10 target week. If he catches, 7 of those, it might be, it's 6 to 7 might be a 120 yard day. I mean, it's not like it's bad. It's just the volume that you're getting out of a lot of these other big guys.
Have his greatest catch against the Cowboys.
Oh, I mean, that's narrative if you want to go with that. That was a long time ago. And one argument could be made that he is still living off of that greatest catch.
Yeah.
Are you trusting the Chiefs-Patriots game or just benching them all in case they have another positive test? Okay, here's the deal. I'll drop this in the chat too. This is what we did for all Roto Heat leagues. So for those out there that are watching that don't know, I run 10 Roto Heat leagues. 3 of them have 96 teams each. These are all dynasty leagues. Another one has 48 teams. So there's over 400 franchises in these 10 leagues. And I will drop what I did to handle the KC New England announcement in the chat here so you can see. But I can tell you that's the wrong link. I can tell you that I try to make it as good as possible for the owners in my leagues so they don't have to worry about taking zeros or not having Kansas City players in their lineups when they do play. Like, there's zero reason why a starting Patrick Mahomes should be on your bench. There's zero reason why other than somebody not wanting to do the work.
Or he's on his bye week.
That's why I said starting Patrick Mahomes. And not to call anybody out. But when there's money involved, you should be taking care of this shit. I feel that as a commissioner, you're taking on certain responsibilities, right? Like, for one, like, let's say you're the one collecting the league dues, and then something happens and you don't have enough money at the end of the year. Guess what? You took the responsibility. It's your responsibility to make sure everybody gets paid out what you said they were going to get paid out. It's not their fault you didn't collect the money or you didn't count or you missed somebody or misplaced the money or whatever. It's your responsibility. That's my thought process on it. And that comes from my history, and I ran poker tournaments for 10 plus years. And it's the same thing. Like when you have a bunch of people, I did forget. I got to set that up right now. People asking me about the DraftKings contest this week.
Oh yeah, I saved $5 in my a little wallet thing.
Yep, I'll get it. I'll make that contest right now, and I'll drop it in the Discord. Contest lobby.
Have you won that in yet?
Do what?
Have you won the one?
I got
the
second last week. I have not won it yet.
I think I won week 2. I don't think week 3 I did terrible. Week 1 and 3 I both did terrible.
I wouldn't even have won it if I had my main lineup in. But my main lineup, like my 3 lineups, scooped everything. I don't know if you looked at my spreadsheet last week was a good week.
Was it? I don't think I played much last week. I ended up winning. I only played like 2 little ones.
Last week was my best week I've ever had, like from a win percentage
standpoint. Yeah.
Like I've had a couple contests where I made more money, but contest name week 4. Boom, 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 boom. Add friends. Invite all. Done. Next. All right. I am going to go drop that link. Not starting him, but excited to see if Troutman gets the run today. What are your thoughts on Adam Troutman?
On who?
Adam. On who? Are you not a dynasty guy?
I didn't hear the name.
Adam Troutman. Look at him. Google. Tight end for the New Orleans Saints.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. If it's for the Saints, no. Jared Cook's still their guy, so it's been a crazy week for me. So hard enough keeping up with all the COVID stuff.
Get those questions in. I'm sorry to be a little disengaged at the moment. I'm getting a couple things handled for leagues and getting this DFS contest dropped in the DFS chat we've got on Discord. I did drop the Discord link above if you want to join that Discord and get in there and chat with us 7 days a week, 365. And if you play any video games, Warzone or Among Us or whatever, we've got that chat in there too, so you can play with Bryce or myself.
You should try playing us, Rick.
Do what? No.
You should try playing it.
I've got better things to do. I started putting a puzzle together the other day.
No, you'd like it more than that.
No, look, I'm dead serious too. Like, I'm not joking. There's a puzzle on that table. I know it's blurry, but
I see it. Fox.
That's what I chose to do instead of playing Among Us with you.
That's fun.
Okay, Rob has a good question, and I'm going to answer that for sure. Give me 1 second here. Upcoming contest invite, share contest link, copy. Thus is my life, right? This never ends. 8:50 Eastern kickoff. So they're gonna have 2 games going at the same exact time.
Interesting. I bet the owners of the Monday night game, or what station is?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I bet whoever usually does the Monday night is not going to be happy because that's how they get a lot of viewers that way.
Okay, that link is dropped in the Discord. I will drop it elsewhere after a bit if we don't get filled up. Oh shoot, I should probably make my lineup. Import. I'll just go with my main lineup. Okay, so Rob said, what made you guys shift away from fantasy with defenses and kickers? So here's the thing, right? We talked about it a little bit, and we talk about this in DFS all the time. Um, those positions are so variant, and they're very, very hard to predict, right? We can predict wide receivers that should get volume to a certain extent, right? It's not
Right.
100% foolproof. We can predict which running backs should get what amount of carries. Obviously, not foolproof. Quarterbacks, tight ends, whatever. We can kind of predict that stuff. Defenses and kickers are completely unpredictable, really. Your bottom defense could get a random fumble recovery for a touchdown that changes everything. It's not, when it comes to fantasy and actually being skill based, it's a lot less skilled from a team perspective, right? I would recommend, if you want to have defense, you go to IDP where there's skill involved, more than just, because scoring, that's the big misconception that everybody's got with team defense, DST, is that, if they don't give up points, then they're a good defense to have for fantasy, which isn't the case. Now, I know this just because I'm a Bears fan, but there's been years where the Bears didn't give up points and they got a bunch of turnovers. A couple years ago they did that, or back when, Urlacher and Tillman, or, Ravens teams have done that. The Patriots last year, right? They had so many turnovers, so many pick sixes and touchdowns that it works out, but it doesn't always work out that much. The Bears last year were a top 5 defense in points scored, but they didn't get turnovers. They didn't score on defense. So it's not always created equal, and it's very hard to predict. So it's just not. I don't think it's a solid point of skill most times. And then you can have a random kicker that just happens to get 6 field goals in a game, just randomly. And I don't think that it should make up the difference in that. CBS, Bryce. That's where the game's going to be played.
Okay.
Here's one for you. And I'm sorry, it just shows me Facebook user, so I don't know your name. Flex spot to fill in a 16-team standard league. Ward, Debo, Brian Hill, or Edmonds, 1 return yard, 0.10 points. 0.1 points.
Who were the first 2? Ward and then
Ward, Debo, Brian Hill, or Edmonds.
I'm gonna go with Greg Ward.
Flex spot to fill, standard league, not PPR.
Oh.
I'm assuming that's non-PPR. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going Debo here. He's just the best player.
PPR, I think touchdown upside for them makes Debo a little bit more. If it's PPR, I'm going Greg Ward. But if it's standard, I'm going to go Debo.
Robert Volp says, who should I start in my flex? Beasley, Renfro, or McKinnon? McKinnon, until he's hurt.
Yeah, I would agree. I almost lean Renfro a little bit this way, but I liked how they used McKinnon this last week. He was questionable. His ribs were messed up this week, so has me a little bit wishy-washy on him, but I'm still going to go with Jerick McKinnon.
Paul says, should we put Kansas City, New England guys back in with the news today? I will get back to you on that. It's a little hard for me to make that decision on air. I have to put some thought into it, talk to my crew. Which wide receiver would y'all start just for today? Hunter Renfrow, Greg Ward, or Brandon Ayuk? Hunter Renfrow for me, and I'm sure you're going Greg Ward. And it's not, we're divided here. We've had this question a couple times, though. Hunter Renfrow and Greg Ward have been popular players today on the pre-show. Chat, you're going to have to help him out there. Hunter Renfrow or Greg Ward today. Okay, back to Facebook user. The 16-team standard league, Ward, Debo, Brian Hill, or Edmonds. He did say it is a standard league, so confirming that, I'm going Debo for sure. Jared Cook is out. Trotman will have a nice game today. Yeah, I don't. I'm not buying it. We just saw Cook was like the guy that everybody thought was going to have a big day versus Oakland or Las Vegas. I did it and said Oakland. And then he was nothing that game. Nothing burger. I needed him to be good. He did find the end zone in that game, but yeah, I'm not going with it until I know. Rob Kane says Bear Down used to travel to Bears games from Gary, Indiana on Sundays as a kid. I'm from about 2 hours from Gary. I have not been to a Bears game yet. I am the kind of person I like sitting in my quiet room with nobody to bother me, watching my football. And it's hard for me to pay the prices currently, but I do have some Gary, Indiana stories. Irvin, no problem, man. We wanna help as much as we can. Are Julio Jones and DJ Shark safe to play today? My opinion is if they rule people in, if they're active, then you put them in your lineup. And sometimes you're gonna get guys that are strictly decoys, but I'm not sitting Julio if he's active. Shark, there can be an argument, right? You could, depending on your wide receiver core, Shark might be a sit, but I'm not sitting guys when they're healthy. He needs one of those two, Shark or Julio. I'm Julio every time if they're both healthy. If they're both active. Obviously, that 4.4 points that Julio put up 2 weeks ago or whatever before he sat out is tough, but if he puts up 34.4, you're going to feel pretty good about it. Okay. Carson or Taylor for the flex play. Full PPR. My other running backs are Elliott and Aaron Jones. That's a good combo to have. Hey, Rob Sullivan, what is the Aaron Jones TD tracker on pace for so far this year?
Don't get him. So I've said enough Aaron Jones for the whole year. It seems like. What was it? Chris Carson. Chris Carson and who?
Chris Carson or Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor to me.
Yeah, there's a situation where Carson may not get the full load, so I'd go Taylor. He's going to get a good workload, even though it might not be as efficient as you would like. Everybody, my chats are going crazy. Do we have the play? Everybody put their Kansas City, New England players back in. Oh, I didn't think of that, and that is true. Paul makes a good point, which I've only said once in my life. Julio does play Monday night, so if you're not comfortable with that, then you may start Shark instead.
Yeah, that's
it's Monday night. I didn't even think about that.
I'd feel way more comfortable starting Shark knowing he's going to play, and then having Julio on the fence and having to throw in, even if you have another receiver on that team. Russell Gage is owned in almost all leagues, so I would throw in. I mean, Calvin Ridley's also on the injury report, but apparently there's no serious talk about him missing the game, so it seems like he's going to be active. So I'd probably throw DJ Shark in just to be safe for your team.
Yep, that was a good point, Paul. Thank you for bringing that up in the chat. Okay, so we've got a little break in questions here. We've answered everything, and Rob says, "Oh man, you got to share some Gary, Indiana stories." So my background's in poker. I was a professional poker player for a while, and used to travel up to Gary to the the Horseshoe Casino up there because they had some great poker games. So the first time we went up, it was me and 3 buddies, and we're in a car. We've got a bunch of money on us, and my buddy had just bought this Cadillac like 2 weeks before it was used, but we take an exit too early. We end up in the middle of Gary. It's like 9 o'clock at night, right? And for those that don't know Gary, Indiana, high crime, it's similar to the Detroit and the houses with boarded up windows and everything, right? So we get lost and we're in Gary and it's dark. They don't have street lights. We stop at this gas station. We get directions to the casino. The lady tells us just turn out on this street and go straight, and it'll lead right to the casino. So we get on there. We go through the first intersection, and my buddy hits a pothole, and the tire just blows. And I'm hanging out the front passenger window, like watching the tire, because we're not stopping if we don't have to. And finally, I'm like, dude, you're gonna mess your car up. Like, you gotta stop. And all four of us, we assign jobs to each other. And we're like, okay, we're gonna get out and we're gonna change this tire as fast as possible, right? We're gonna be NASCAR style tire changers. We get out, we get to the trunk, we start pulling all the stuff out of the trunk, and there's no jack. We've got a spare tire, we've got everything. We don't have a jack to jack up the car. We are on the side of the road in Gary. We had one car that circled the block 2 times and then pulled up behind us, flashed its lights, and I'm talking about a car where the tint was so dark you could not see inside of it, and they wouldn't respond to us. I'm pretty sure we were about to be there was potential of getting robbed there. We had another guy. And mind you, we're at this intersection, and the house right next to us is it literally looks like a house that would be in a horror film, right? Like boarded up windows, falling apart, crazy. And I'm calling the cops, and the cops are telling me we can't come out there unless your life's in danger. That's the kind of neighborhood it is, right? They're not coming unless you're in danger. I'm like, I feel like I am. I don't know what else to tell you. But finally, after an hour and a half, we finally get a hold of a tow truck. We're on the side of the road for an hour and a half, and I've never been so scared in my life. And cars circling the block. Another car pulled up, and my buddy went over and was talking to this guy 60 feet away. And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I got a jack in the trunk." And I turned around. I was on the phone with the cops at the time. I turn around and I see him, so I walk over there and I'm like, "The cops said they're gonna be here in 5 minutes." The dude's like, "Oh man, I'm out. I forgot I left my jack at home." As he's digging through his trunk full of stuff. So finally, the nastiest tow truck driver ever picks us up. We ride in the car. He pulls us literally an eighth of the mile up this hill, and you go over this hill and there's lights everywhere. So we only had to go up this hill. You couldn't see on the other side of it though. And he made us change the tire. And then my buddy was like, "Yeah, we're on our way to the casino." And the guy's like, "Oh, well, since you're on the way to the casino, instead of losing all that money there, why don't I just charge you $300? It's literally what he said to us. And we couldn't argue. So we paid the dude $300. Went into the bathroom at the gas station he pulled into, and there was literally shit on the walls. People had thrown shit on the walls. It was the most disgusting thing ever. We all made money that night, so it ended up being all right. But it's literally the only time I've ever been scared for my life. Not a good place to be stranded at. In place of Godwin, who do you start in a 10-team PPR? Hollywood Brown, John Brown, or T. Higgins? Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown every time for me. John Brown's got they both have a decent floor. Both Browns have a decent floor. John Brown maybe a little bit higher than Hollywood's, but Hollywood's got the bigger payday, the bigger big day. Rob Kane says potholes everywhere in Gary. Yep. And he said, for those that don't know, Gary used to be the murder capital of the U.S. This is crazy. I'm telling you, Rob, it's a night I will not forget. That was about 12 years ago, I think. 12, 13 years ago. It was not fun. It was not fun. I think Paul just got excited because he heard the word murder, and he is like, he might be Jeffrey Dahmer's biggest fanboy.
Got to watch that Netflix documentary on the Chris Watts. That was creepy.
The Chris Watts?
Yeah, it's that guy who I think it was 2018 or something.
Oh yeah. I watched that.
Yeah,
don't give anything away.
Well, I mean, it was national news at the time.
I didn't know anything about. I don't watch the news though. Like the news is all negative. I don't watch that shit.
He was like all over Facebook and everything.
Really?
So I didn't know. I thought most people knew.
I did not. I did not know. I assumed from watching the thing that it was what it was.
Yeah, it was weird.
I did not. Paul says he met him. I don't know which one he met. I don't know if it was Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, is he your uncle?
Jeffrey Dahmer was killed by Christ. There was a dude in prison who nicknamed Christ and killed him.
Oh man. A buddy of mine was Shark. Oh no, he's answering. Gallup or Shark?
Oh man. I think, this is another one I think is a good floor and ceiling question, because Gallup's floor is pretty low, where I think Chark's isn't. I think Chark this week. I'm gonna go with Chark. Competition for touches.
This one's tough for me. It's literally 50-50. I can't argue against Shark, so I'll make it easy for you, and I'll go with Shark. I can't argue with it at all. But I tend to go with like quarterback when it's that close, right? And Dak's better than Minshew.
Right. There's also a lot more mouths to feed in Dallas.
Yeah, you got Paul all excited. Like, he's even a bigger fanboy of Bryce than he was before. He says that the fact that Bryce knows this without looking makes me very happy. I'm creeped out. Maybe you two can fanboy serial killers on your own time.
Yeah. I've seen all those documentaries for sure.
Michael, yeah, I wish that was a clearer one, but Gallup and Shark is close to me. I'm going I'm gonna go back and forth but I look at that quarterback, right, when it's that close, and Dak is so much more. He's so much better than Minshew. So I gotta go Gallup. I'm going back and forth. Sorry, Michael. Chat
said Shark first.
Chat is, you said Shark. Chat has said Shark so far. Should I start Edelman or Rojo? This one is super easy.
Edelman.
Sure. Edelman, 100%.
I think
is never the answer. Rojo is never the answer. Rojo is never the answer. Write this on the chalkboard 1,000 times. Rojo is never the answer.
He doesn't have much competition for touches, which is nice.
They said Keyshawn Vaughn's going to have a role.
I know, but they said that also in week 1 for Leonard Fournette, and he got like 3 touches.
He got 5 carries in week 1. Neither of them did well.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean,
I don't care. Rojo is not good. Like, Keyshawn Vaughn is better than Ronald Jones. I'm gonna say this every week. I understand. Ronald Jones is gonna pop every once in a while. Ronald Jones is not good. Ronald Jones is not good. The answer is never Ronald Jones. Edelman. That's the answer. Our boy Sully, where's he at? he was the one that said Leonard Fournette. Yeah, Michael, that's what you get sometimes when you have that really hard one to answer, and that's obviously why you're here, looking for us to answer the question, which is super tough because sometimes I don't have the perfect answer. Sometimes it does just come down to which quarterback are you more comfortable with, or which matchup are you more comfortable with. But I will never let, like, if a guy is way more skilled, I'll never let matchup be the decider, because we've seen it too many times where guys in a juicy matchup bomb, and people in a hard matchup explode. Yeah, so I'm on my come down from the Ronald Jones.
Yeah.
Get me excited here. Ronald Jones for me is never the answer. Yeah, I don't get it. Edelman's gonna have probably 12 targets this week. I don't care if it's.
I like all the pay. I like all the. I like Edelman, Harry, and I don't even mind throwing in Bird if you're real thin for injuries or COVID stuff. I like kind of all three of them. But I like Harry and Edelman a lot
I think
this week.
with White today, with White back, Bird, that hurts Bird a lot.
Yeah. It probably hurts Burkhead more than anybody.
Ooh, here we go. Tyler says, who are just some of your guys' general top safest plays on DK? So you're looking more cash style, right? Like this week, if I was playing, I don't play strict cash lineups. Mine are hybrids. Like, it's hard for me not to play Ryan Fitzpatrick. At his price point, in the matchup he's in, it is hard for me not to play Ryan Fitzpatrick because he is going to have to throw maybe 50 plus times today. And at 5,400, I love that price. I mean, he's cheap. He's in a perfect matchup, and we know Ryan Fitzpatrick can blow up. So I like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Alvin Kamara with Michael Thomas out. You're not going to get much safer than that. I'm going to have to pull mine up here.
I mean, there's some games today that could be very high scoring. Like the Saints and Lions could be high scoring. The Bengals and Jaguars, high scoring. Seahawks, Dolphins could be high scoring. Vikings, Texans could be high scoring. Cardinals, Panthers, Cowboys, Browns. Like, I wouldn't mind having any quarterback from any of those teams in my lineups today.
I can tell you that one of my I make 3 main lineups. I could, I have one lineup made around Joe Burrow. They're throwing too much, right? And I like that. But let's look at some of the running backs. Kenyon Drake at 6K is just too cheap. Like, I understand he hasn't had the big week yet, but the Panthers are the team that you break out against. Ask Austin Eckler. Remember before Austin Eckler played the Panthers? Everybody was off of Austin Eckler. I love him. Mike Davis is getting more of the Christian McCaffrey role than Christian McCaffrey was in the first couple weeks. 16 receptions in 2 weeks. 5,700. It's hard not to go there. I like Darrell Henderson at 5,800. Other safe plays, Zeke is safe. Safe-ish. Some other plays that I like, Brandon Cooks at, what is he, 4,500? Let me click on his name here. Yeah, 4,500. In that game against Minnesota. I mean, we're talking about bad secondaries with Seattle and Dallas. Minnesota's right there with them. Mecole or Watkins, 9 a.m. Tuesday. Weird timing. 9 a.m. Tuesday.
It's going to be Monday. Apparently both organizations said that would be better for them.
9 a.m. on Tuesday?
No. Oh, wait. I thought you said 9 p.m. No, I'm hearing.
So 9 a.m. on Tuesday. I'm confused. It's Sammy over Hardman.
Yeah.
It's Sammy over Hardman. I doubt Gilmore. Does Gilmore, does he shadow the slot ever?
It just depends. Like, I was wondering. They don't always have him shadow the same receiver the whole game. So like when they first played the Seahawks at the beginning of the game, he was on Lockett, and then he switched to Metcalf, and then he was on Lockett again at some place. So I think it's so their defense. They don't. I think they do that so like a team can't just almost scheme around one player getting shut down. But normally he is not in the slot.
That's what I thought.
But he will. He will.
Right, but if he's trying to shut down the best player, then he's going to be on Hill a lot, and they're probably going to try to counter that speed somehow that you get. They haven't. I will say they haven't really been able to shut down Tyreek Hill thus far.
I think they'll put Jonathan Jones on Tyreek Hill with safety help.
Maybe.
I think that Gilmore will be on the number 2 receiver, whether it's Sammy or Mecole, whoever they put, because like I said earlier, Tyreek Hill, in the sense of DK Metcalf, when you're talking about speed, is Stephon Gilmore can't run with him. But, and Tyreek Hill is known for long crossing routes across the field more than he is known for his little out routes and in routes like Sammy Watkins and is more known for in that scheme. So I think the last time they played, he did not guard Tyreek Hill. I think they doubled Tyreek Hill the whole game, and he was on Sammy or Mecole, whoever it was in that second wide receiver spot. If I'm correct, I think that's what they did. So
Kelsey's the answer.
Yeah, yeah. Kelsey got a beautiful matchup this week.
Rob says Breeze or Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick
easily for me. Listen,
it's weird saying that.
Okay, so this has been a big point of emphasis early in the season, right? Because people are finally realizing that Breeze doesn't push the ball downfield. That's not who Breeze is. Isn't who he has been for the past 5 years. He has had the lowest ADOT in the NFL for the past 2 seasons, and this season he is last again. He does not push the ball down the field. He does not have the potential really to get you those big weeks. Ryan Fitzpatrick has that 35-point upside this week versus Seattle. They're going to throw the ball a lot. Breeze is a fine floor. He's not going to kill you, but he doesn't have the ceiling that he used to have. He's not going to throw the 60-yard touchdown, unless he throws it, negative 2 yards to 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage to Kamara, and then he goes for a 60-yard bomb. Like that's the only way that it's happening. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick fairly easily this week. Okay, thanks for all the help today. Best of luck for everyone. Thank you, Tyler. Hope that we did help. I love it. It goes to like European time. I don't know why, but it does. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm still confused.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, guys, it is 11:30. I know we normally stick around till noon, but I have a lot of work for these leagues that I got to get done. I got to make a decision. Do I have everybody put their Kansas City guys back in?
Sounds good to me. I mean, you could always, they should have already messaged their captain by now. I mean, you could always do it kind of the way I did. If vice versa, if it ends up for some reason getting like last minute canceled, have your backup, player put in. I won't know for 32 minutes in the Grand Prix League though.
I don't know what is 9 a.m. on Tuesday.
I would say, nothing's confirmed yet. Everything's still in that weird limbo area of this is what it sounds like we're going to do, but it wouldn't surprise me today. Oh, 2 more players got tested positive. The game's canceled. So I think your best bet is just to
keep it how it is.
Keep it how you have it. Yeah, with only an hour and a half left, I mean, you're more than likely not going to reach everybody in all your leagues. So,
right.
Yeah. It was just a guessing game at this point. I guessed that they'd play. You guessed that they wouldn't, and I got lucky.
Well, we still don't have an answer. I mean, it's
right,
still not. They're still not kicking off yet.
Yeah, it was definitely 50-50 for me. I thought Bill Belichick was going to send everyone to Cam Newton's house to go test positive
Yeah.
so they didn't have to play. COVID.
Oh, so okay, that makes me realize to keep it what it is, because Bill Belichick might still have that up his sleeve, and there might be 8 positive cases tomorrow morning.
COVID gate.
But is that what there's? What is this 9 a.m. Tuesday thing? I don't get it.
I read something for the NFL thing earlier, so I'm not sure.
Is that
what
what they're planning on playing? With my European time, MFL has some weird times. It'll show the early set of games at like 9 p.m. for some reason.
Okay, it said Ian Rappaport just said 39 minutes ago, the Chiefs and Patriots' latest rounds of testing all were clear, so it seems like they're going to be playing Monday night. So.
Okay. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the super chats. You guys are awesome. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Waiver wire videos come out every Sunday night early to help you get ahead of the curve. Videos throughout the week. Live streams on Tuesday and Wednesday during the season. Tuesday night is Dynasty centric. Wednesday night is Redraft centric. Other than that, like I hope we helped as best as possible. I want you guys to have success this week. I want you to win your matchups. If you're playing DFS, get over to Discord. Let me drop that in the chat one more time here before we go. Get in this Discord. We hash out our DFS every week, and we're winning money. We're winning money. So get over there, chat with us for that. If you haven't been, RotoHeat.com. A lot of changes are going to be coming on RotoHeat.com here after the season. So get over there, get subscribed, bookmark that. Check out Sully's 2 Cents podcast. Check out all the go to RotoHeat.com, hit the podcast button, subscribe to everything that's there. We'll get that out to you. We appreciate you guys being here. Bryce, you got any last minute words for the Heat Seekers here?
We gotta say our every Wednesday we do a redraft stream as well, and then we gotta say our sneaky player for the day.
Fudge. Dude, I don't even know, man. Like, sneaky player, like I don't have to be I'm not confident in it this week. But I think with Cohen out, we could see Cordarrelle Patterson getting around 10 carries and 2 to 3 receptions, and we know that he does have big play potential. So when we're talking DK and we're looking at a wide receiver that is really a running back and being able to plug that amount of touches in, like, I don't think he's crazy to take a shot on in some scenarios. Because the Bears will also give him goal line work. You don't see that very often in that type of player, right? Like Curtis Samuel's not going to get goal line work or Laviska Shenault's not going to get goal line work. So I will look at him a little bit. We had 2 questions pop up. Go ahead and answer your sneaky player, and then we'll get to Darson and Paul's questions over there on YouTube.
Okay. So with all the injuries and all the the other game, the Titans in Pittsburgh, a lot of people are thin at running back, and I think that if you're really stretched, a sneaky player that might get you some touchdown upside this week will be Carlos Hyde. With Chris Carson coming off that injury that looked pretty bad, but he's active this week. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Seahawks up pretty big on the Dolphins, or consistently up the whole game and able to utilize the run game. Carlos Hyde might get you some surprising points.
Can't get on board.
Can't.
Nope. Okay. Greg Ward or Justin Jefferson?
Greg Ward.
Greg Ward, really. That's a floor versus ceiling question for me. If I need the ceiling, I'm going Justin Jefferson. If I need the floor, so basically, Darson, what I'm saying is, if you look at your matchup and you say, okay, this guy's got a better roster than mine, I'm going Justin Jefferson. If you think you have the better roster, I'm going Greg Ward. Paul says Greg Ward or Ronald Jones. The answer is never Ronald Jones. Greg Ward.
Agree.
And then Jason says, what's up? And I've got noise in the background. I'm going to cut this. We appreciate everybody coming by. We will be back next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and hopefully it'll be a normal Sunday or normal-ish, and we'll be here till noon. But I got a lot of stuff I got to catch up on before these games start, and I appreciate everybody stopping by. Bryce, I appreciate you being here.
It's always fun to be on here.
All right. Later.
Oh,